Nearly 4 years ago, co-workers found David Simpson's lifeless body on the top of a tank battery at an Oklahoma oil well site. Simpson became known as one of the NIOSH 9 oil-field workers ranging in age from 21 to 63 who died suddenly after inhaling toxic hydrocarbon gas fumes while measuring levels of oil inside a tank. For Simpson's family, justice came this month in a federal court, but not from a judge's ruling.
On a cold day in March of 2014, David Simpson was atop a tank battery on a catwalk, opening what is known as a thief hatch to sample the tank's contents before offloading it onto his truck. Moments later, he was dead.
It just really hurts to think that he was alone.
His widow, Cindy Simpson, can't reveal the terms of the settlement her attorneys reached with XTO Energy, a wholly owned subsidiary of ExxonMobil. That's part of the deal she agreed to, ending the federal court trial that began earlier this month. Her attorney, Fred Bremseth, says Ms. Simpson got what she wanted.
Justice prevailed, and we were happy to have a successful outcome for Ms. Simpson. It's a very difficult case, as you can imagine, and very painful on the family.
David Simpson was one of 9 men that the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, part of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, determined had all died after probable exposure to deadly hydrocarbon gases after opening a thief hatch to check the level or test the tank's contents. The wells involved were what is known as in the flowback stage, oil and gas and other substances that come up out of a newly fracked well, materials that include a long list of deadly gases that have the effect of displacing oxygen when vented into the atmosphere, and almost instantly rendering anyone close unable to breathe, think clearly, or move in time to survive. The Simpsons took part in a public service video produced by NIOSH along with the California Department of Health to warn oil field workers of the danger involved with opening a thief hatch. Dee Lalille is a truck owner-operator in the oil patch and knows what it feels like when the gases pour out of the hatch.
When you're up there and it hits you, it kind of catches you off guard. You kind of get dizzy. Most of the time when that happens, I just run. But when you try to run, it hits you so fast, you get disoriented and don't remember which way you want to run.
This is the third lawsuit Fred Bremseth has won for victims' families. He says each time the oil companies involved tried to avoid liability using the same defense.
And in each of the cases, the defense or the outcome, at least as far as the oil companies are concerned, is that it's just a sudden heart attack. They still want to say that this is just a natural death and that the hydrocarbon gases really are not that dangerous.
And now there are at least 2 more victims, and one of them is in Oklahoma.
That's true. We have been contacted just recently to take a look at another sudden death case, and it's just in the preliminary stages, but yes, it's right there in Oklahoma City.
Bremseth declined to identify the newest case in Oklahoma, saying he has only recently been contacted by the family and knows very little about the case so far. There are some oil and natural gas companies that have realized the dangers involved with sending workers up on a catwalk to manually test the tanks.
You see where the guy opens the hatch and see how much gas is coming out. These guys are at risk because there's lots of harmful vapors within there. Same as you wouldn't want to hang your head right over top of your gas tank when you're fueling your car.
Earl McKay is U.S. Operations Superintendent for Canadian-based Interplus Resources.
For a person to be in that kind of risk, there's no sense in it, in my mind. There's benzenes, there's toluenes, there's xylenes. There's all kinds of things that can have long-term or immediate effects if you are deprived of oxygen.
There are now new systems for measuring and or testing the tank contents electronically.
They've recommended that automatic tank gauging be the rule so that people don't have to go up and manually open up the hatch and expose themselves to this risk of death. from a safety standpoint, any and all engineering programs or protocols that can be done to eliminate that risk should be done. There's no reason not to.
We contacted ExxonMobil's media office for a comment on the Simpson trial and to ask if they are installing the new electronic tank measuring equipment. Their response was simply, "The parties have reached a confidential settlement. Without XTO accepting liability, are found to be liable."